1919. In a small farming community near Odem, a boy named Lafayette Green Poole entered the world just 5 minutes after his twin brother, John Thomas. Born on July 23 to John McKinley Poole and Marion Lee Ruth Poole, young Lafayette, known as Leif to his family, grew up amid the relentless rhythm of rural life. The coastal plains stretched out flat and unforgiving, where temperatures climbed past 100 degrees Fahrenheit and rain was more wish than promise. Electricity was a rare visitor to these farms, and running water meant hauling buckets from hand-pumped wells. Entertainment came from crackling radio broadcasts when batteries held out, or the simple joys of Sunday church gatherings. Life on the Poole family farm demanded everything from a child. From dawn's first light to sunset's weary close, Leif and his siblings worked the dry soil, tending cattle that kicked up dust clouds, mending fences twisted by wind-whipped thorns, repairing plows with scavenged wire and sheer will. His father, a stern but fair man, taught the twins the unyielding code of the land. Hard work built character, discipline forged survival, and service to family meant rising before the roosters. Leif's mother added a layer of quiet faith, her stories from the Bible weaving threads of resilience into their days. Alongside his brother, who would later sail the Pacific waves in the Navy, and sister Tenny May, Leif absorbed these lessons like parched ground drinks a rare shower. By his teenage years, Leif towered at 6 feet 2 inches, his frame lean and toughened by years of hauling hay bales and wrestling steers. At Taft High School, he channeled that farm boy vigor into football, where his explosive speed and unyielding drive made him a star on the gridiron. But Leif's gifts ran deeper than muscle. A sharp mind hungered for knowledge, pulling straight A's despite the pull of the fields. Graduating in 1937, he pushed further, enrolling at Corpus Christi College Academy, a strict all-boys Catholic prep school. There, amid rigorous drills and midnight study lamps, he graduated as valedictorian in 1938, his speech a clarion call for ambition born of humble roots. Higher education beckoned next. At Texas College of Arts and Industries in Kingsville, now Texas A&M University Kingsville, Leif dove into engineering, his aptitude for mathematics and machines a natural fit. He dreamed of designing bridges that spanned dusty plains or engines that tamed the wild Texas winds. Yet even in classrooms filled with blueprints, Leif sought outlets for his restless energy. Boxing became his forge. In the 165-pound weight class, he unleashed a storm of aggression, quick reflexes, and iron-jawed grit. His record gleamed, 41 wins, 0 losses. That ferocity clinched him the sectional Golden Gloves Championship in New Orleans, and an invitation to the national finals shimmered like a pro contract on the horizon. But Leif turned it down. The ring taught him to strike hard and think faster, but engineering promised stability, a life beyond bruises and bloodied gloves. The world, however, had other plans. By 1941, shadows lengthened across the globe. Adolf Hitler's armies had swallowed Poland, France, and swaths of Europe, while Japan's empire clawed deeper into Asia. Britain stood defiant, but battered, a lone fist against the Nazi storm. America clung to neutrality, but whispers of war hummed like distant thunder. Young men faced the crossroads, wait for the draft's cold hand, or enlist and choose their fight. Leif, at 21, weighed 175 pounds of coiled resolve, chose the latter. On June 14th, 6 months before Pearl Harbor's thunder would shatter illusions, he strode into the recruitment office at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio. His signature on the enlistment papers marked the end of plowshares and the dawn of swords. Assigned to the newly minted 3rd Armored Division at Camp Beauregard, Louisiana, Leif plunged into a world of steel and thunder. Activated just 2 months earlier, the division, soon nicknamed Spearhead for its relentless drive, embodied America's gamble on mechanized might. Leif joined Company C, 3rd Battalion, 32nd Armored Regiment, 3rd Platoon, as a tank commander. No officer's stars for him. He craved the turret's roar, not a desk's distance. Training was a brutal baptism. Endless hours in the M3 Lee medium tank, a hulking stopgap with a 75mm gun awkwardly splayed in its hull, taught him to coax 33 tons of iron through Louisiana's swamps and forests. Gunnery drills sharpened his eye until targets bloomed in crosshairs like prairie flowers. Radio chatter became second nature, coordinating with infantry shadows and artillery barrages. Leif's philosophy crystallized here. Strike first, strike hard, close the gap before the enemy unleashed hell. He pored over German Panzer tactics, memorizing the sleek lines of Mark IV tanks and the thunder of 88mm flak guns repurposed for anti-tank ambushes. Field exercises mimicked Europe's chaos, attacks through mock hedgerows, defenses against simulated blitzkriegs. Leif's aggression shone. His tank outscored rivals in accuracy. His maneuvers read terrain like an open book. Hull-down hides behind rises, flanking paths through underbrush. He handpicked his crew, forging bonds tighter than welded armor. Corporal Wilbert "Baby" Richards, a wiry 5'4" driver from the Midwest, could thread the Sherman through needle's eyes. 17-year-old Private First Class Bertrand "Schoolboy" Close, bespectacled and baby-faced from Portland, Oregon, wielded the Bow 30 caliber machine gun with lethal calm. Corporal Willis Groundhog Ollie, 29 and steady as Illinois bedrock, manned the gunner's perch, his goggles etched permanently on his face. Technician 5th grade Delbert Jailbird Boggs, 22 from Ohio with a shadowed past, loaded rounds like clockwork fury. They dubbed themselves the Pups, and Leif, War Daddy. He drilled them mercilessly, load, aim, fire, reload, until actions blurred into instinct. Refusing a commission, Leif chose the front line's fire over command post safety. By late 1943, after desert trials in California's Mojave, where choking dust tested seals and 120-degree heat-baked engines, the spearhead sharpened for Europe. In December 1942, amid brief leave, Leif married Evelyn Wright, a quiet anchor in the storm. 8 children would follow, her letters lifelines through the abyss ahead. By September 1943, troop ships carried them across the Atlantic's wolf-pack-haunted waves to England's misty shores. 9 months of final honing, exercises with British allies, waterproofing tanks for channel crossings, built tension like a drawn bow. Leif sparred once with boxing legend Joe Louis in a Liverpool exhibition, absorbing a lesson in humility that honed his timing sharper. Invasion loomed. On June 23, 1944, as D-Day's echoes faded, the 3rd Armoured boarded for Normandy. Leif stood tall in his turret, the pups at his side, ready to unleash hell on Hitler's heartland. Little did they know, 83 days of fire awaited, where a Texas farmer would etch his name in steel and smoke. June 24, 1944, Omaha Beach, Normandy, France. 18 days after the thunder of D-Day had cracked the Atlantic Wall, the 3rd Armored Division churned ashore under a steady rain that turned sand to slurry. Wreckage from the invasion scarred the horizon. Gutted landing craft bobbed like broken toys in the surf. Twisted German bunkers clawed at the cliffs, and endless supply dumps sprawled across the dunes. Crates of ammunition, jerry cans of fuel, boxes of rations stacked like grim monuments. The air hung heavy with salt spray, diesel fumes, and the faint, acrid tang of spent cordite. Military police barked orders through the mud, herding vehicles inland as engines growled and treads chewed the earth. Leif Pool's first Sherman tank, an M4A1 variant with a 75mm main gun, hit the beach without a hitch. Waterproof seals held firm against the channel's chill, and the engine snarled to life, propelling the 33-ton beast up the shingle under its own steam. Over the next days, the division coalesced in muddy assembly yards, stripping away the seals, test-firing weapons that echoed like Judgment Day, and tuning tracks slick with brine. Leif's pups, Baby Richards at the wheel, Schoolboy Close on the bowgun, Groundhog Ollie glued to the sights, Jailbird Boggs stacking shells, had gelled through years of drills. Now, amid the rain-lashed tents and clatter of typewriters logging inventories, they faced the real forge, war's unblinking eye. Their Sherman bore a fresh christening. In the Mood, scrawled in bold white letters on the hull, borrowed from Glenn Miller's swinging anthem that still crackled on troopship phonographs. The name pulsed with Leif's spirit, Upbeat, relentless, a dare to the fates. He rode exposed in the turret, his claustrophobia a shadow he outran, trading periscope slits for the full sweep of bocage horizons. That vantage saved lives, spotting threats early, calling shots with a farmer's instinct for hidden snares. Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel William B. Kern, a fellow Texan cut from similar cloth, saw Leif's fire and fed it missions. "Ride that buck like a bronco," Kern would radio, trusting the sergeant to lead where lieutenants feared to tread. Normandy's hedgerows, ancient earthen walls thick with brambles and oaks, turned fields into a green labyrinth, a defender's dream. Centuries-old boundaries channeled tanks into kill zones where German Fusiliers and PaK-40 anti-tank guns lurked unseen until 50 yards out. Early assaults bled America dry. Shermans bellied over walls like stranded whales, bellies exposed to burrowing rounds. Ingenious GIs welded steel beach obstacles into rhino tusks on tank prows, battering through berms without flipping. Leif's platoon would wield this edge soon enough. June 29th, Villers-Bocage, east of the Vire River, north of St. Lo. Combat Command A's baptism of fire. Blunt, a 3,000-yard German salient held by the 353rd Infantry Division. Task Force Y, Leif's flank, rolled at 0900 after 30 minutes of artillery serenade, shells whistling like banshees, cratering earth in geysers of soil. Treads bit into the orchard-dotted lanes, visibility choked to the next wall. Radios crackled with sightings, half-track 10 o'clock 300 yards. Leif's voice cut through, "Gunner, high explosive on the way." Ollie's round slammed home, birthing a fireball that lit the haze. That day, in the mood, tallied 3 enemy vehicles and 70-plus Krauts, Close's 30 caliber chattering down infantry like wheat before a scythe. But Glory's edge was razor-thin. Pushing into Falaise, a cluster of stone houses meant cleared. The tank prowled a pinched street, walls looming like jury boxes. Intel lied. A Wehrmacht ghost stirred. From a shadowed doorway, a trooper hefted a Panzerfaust. Rocket tube crude as a bazooka but venomous, its shaped charge punching 200 millimeters of fury. At 40 yards, he fired. Whoosh crack. The warhead kissed the flank, jetting molten copper through plate into the belly. In the mood bucked, smoke clawing throats, alarms shrieking. "Bail out!" Leif bellowed, turret hatch flying. He vaulted first, Ollie on his heels. Richards and Close tumbled from the glacis, Boggs wriggling loader's hole. 5 heartbeats and they cleared before rounds cooked off in sympathetic fury. Shaken but whole, they humped to friendly lines on borrowed treads. 5 days in, first iron coffin claimed. The Bocage grind ground on, a meat grinder of feints and fire. Task Force Y shed 31 tanks in 2 days, but seized Villers-Bocage, handing off to the 29th Infantry. Leif's tally itched at him, promising, but unfinished. July 1st brought vindication, a fresh M4A1 first in the regiment with the upgraded 76mm gun, wet stowage racks sloshing ammudamp to quench flash fires. Ronson's no more. This beast pierced Panther glacis at 500 yards, sides at 2,000. Leif dubbed her in the mood anew, pups climbing aboard like old lovers. The 76's heft shifted balance, ammo layout tweaked rhythms, but drills retooled them overnight. Weeks blurred in emerald hell. Advance to hedge, draw fire from the next, summon barrage, rhino charge through under smoke. 88s cracked like lightning, Panzerfausts whispered death from ditches. Leif's sixth sense bloomed, reading leaf whispers for lurkers, shadow angles for hull-down hides. Near La Baie Blanche at dusk, a 40mm flak nest materialized 20 yards off, Krauts oblivious in fatigue. No radio warning. Leif's roar, "Gunner, fire!" Ollie's sabot spat, gun crumpling in atomic bloom. 3 seconds. Spot to silence. Instinct incarnate. Night near Colombieres tested steel. Platoon crept blind, infrared ghosts in the gloom. Rounding a berm, in the mood, nose to nose with a Panther, 30 yards, the beast's 75mm Kibuke, 42 a mile-long Reaper. Paper said doom. Panther pierced Sherman at 2,000 yards. Reverse held at suicidal kiss range. Commanders locked eyes through slits. Panther barked twice, over, short, ricochets whining like furies. Ollie's reply, 76mm round kissed turret ring, breaching to cook crew and rags. Flames crowned the kill, etching Kraut silhouettes for follow-up. Leif backed clear as secondaries popped. Tally, 1 Panther, 0 losses. Word rocketed the battalion. Spearhead's fear ebbed. Leif proved it, closed the throat and Tigers choked. Operation Cobra, July 25th. 1,400 bombers hammered St. Lo's south, 4,000 tons pulverizing Wehrmacht spines. Dust clouds towered like Old Testament wrath, gaps yawned for armor's flood. 3rd Armored surged July 29th, hedgerows yielding to plains where Shermans hit 30 miles per hour, outpacing retreat. Bypassed Krauts surrendered by thousands, holdouts met Leif's storm. At Marigny, his platoon ambushed a convoy, 6 half-tracks to scrap in minutes. Radioed Panther ahead he wheeled, Richards flooring it. Flank shot at speed, Panther brewed, turret yeeted by its own grave. Leif's lead burned brighter, pups unbreakable. Yet fortune's wheel spun cruel. August 17th, Fromlins, France. Pursuit fever gripped Combat Command A, Krauts fleeing like rats. P-38 Lightnings, twin-tailed, fork-tailed devils, streaked low, mistaking Leif's column for Panzers from on high. Rockets lanced down, one kissing turret, another engine deck. Boom, in the mood danced in pyre. Bail order snapped, pups scattered, singed but striding. Second grave, American iron. Despair clawed, but replacement came swift. Third in the mood, 76mm Heart. Leif painted her name, crew remounted. 2 months gone, 200 miles clawed from Hitler. 83 days beckoned, destruction's tally climbing. War Daddy's pups hungered for more. September 1944 dawned with the 3rd Armored Division, thundering across France's liberated veins, a spearhead drunk on momentum. From the shattered bocage to the Seine's misty bends, the pursuit phase turned war into a fox hunt, German remnants scampering for the Siegfried Line's concrete embrace. Leif Pool's 3rd in the mood, that 76mm fire breather, prowled at the tip, her white lettering a taunt to the horizon. 2 tanks lost, 2 graves filled with twisted steel. Yet the pups endured. Baby Richard's steady hands on the wheel, Schoolboy Close's watchful eye on flanks, Jailbird Boggs' relentless shell dance, Groundhog Ollie's unerring aim. Bonds forged in fire laughed at odds. They called it charmed. But Leif knew better. Luck favored the bold, the first striker. The Siegfried Line, or West Wall to its builders, loomed as a dragon's spine. Dragon's teeth barriers, pillboxes honeycombed with machine guns, minefields sown like dragon's teeth. Hitler ordered it manned in panic, Volksgrenadiers and weary panzer crews scraping rust from 1938 ghosts. But America's floodgates yawned. The 3rd Armored raced to punch through before winter's chill locked the Rhine. Leif's platoon led the van, often alone. Kern's radio trust absolute. Pool, take point, we'll follow the smoke. Villages blurred into firefights, stone hamlets where snipers perched like crows, roads pocked by wrecks from Luftwaffe's fading claws. Leif's tally swelled like a river in spate. By early September, 250 enemy hulks smoldered in his wake. Half-tracks gutted like fish, trucks blooming orange, anti-tank Pak-40s twisted into modern art. 12 tanks confirmed, Panthers mostly, those sloped predators with KWK-42 long barrels that spat death at 2,000 yards. Leif negated their reach with farm boy cunning. Flank crawls through orchards, hull-down pauses in folds, closing to kiss range where 76mm sabots bit deep. Near Epernay, a Mark V Panther ambushed from a chateau's shadow. Leif wheeled, Richards gunned the reverse, Ollie's round kissed the flank sponson. Boom, crew silenced, turret askew. "One less Tiger," Leif radioed, voice steady as Texas granite. Infantry leaned on War Daddy like a crutch. When the 2nd Armored tangled in a Charleville street brawl, Leif's solo charge scattered a Kampfgruppe, 3 assault guns to scrap, 50 prisoners herded like cattle. His exposed perch, head above the cupola, wind whipping his tanker helmet, drew fire like honey flies. Shrapnel nicked his sleeve once, Close's bowgun stitching the thrower mid-leap. "Keep 'em off me, schoolboy." Leif grinned through dust, but eyes never softened. Claustrophobia's ghost whispered bail, but the view paid in blood saved. August 29th to 31st, etched valor in brass. Alone ahead of his task force, support lagged in the dash, Leif stormed a crossroads gauntlet. First kill, a Mark V lurking road crossing, ambushed from a tree line. 76mm high explosive flashed its turret askew. Second, a Stug assault gun fleeing a hamlet, running duel through alleys. Ollie's tracer laced the engine deck, birthing inferno. Then apex, 2 Panthers in tandem, hull down behind a rise, bracketing Leif's advance. Shells whined. First grazed the mantlet, second cratered short. Leif's pups didn't flinch. Boggs rammed armor-piercing. Ollie traversed left, Sabot piercing the lead side at 400 yards. Flames crowned it. The trail Panther pivoted, but Leif closed. Richards threading a ditch. Point blank, turret ring breached, second cataclysm. 4 tanks, 3 Pak-40s, 50 soft skins, Leif's fog of war, minimum American blood. Headquarters pinned the Distinguished Service Cross. Unflinching courage amid zealous devotion. Witnesses whispered Medal of Honor, but Clark cited crew-served weapons, infantry bias clipping wings. Leif shrugged. Ribbons weighed less than pups' lives. Tally hit 258 vehicles, 1,000 Krauts down or wounded, 250 cuffed. Spearheads whisper, Pool's tank, charmed reaper. Infantry scrawled please, send war daddy. But brass tallied risks, 3 tanks gone, exposure's toll. Mid-September, orders for stateside, war bonds tour. Earned it, Sergeant. One last push, then home. Yet war mocked plans. September 15th, near the Belgian border, a Falaise echo replayed in miniature. Task Force Y pinched a pocket's tail, Krauts bolting like hares. Leif's column snagged a rearguard, dozen half-tracks in woods, guns barking. "Flank 'em," he snapped. Richards pivoted, close suppressing. 6 wrecks in a blink, survivors scattering. Radio crackled, Panther ahead, chewing Shermans. Leif chose fire's heart, full throttle back, dust plume a cloak. Cresting a knoll, the beast loomed, engaged forward, blind to the flank. Napoleon's ghost, never halt a fool's error. Sabot, left flank, on the way. Ollie's gift penetrated glacis at 600. Internal bloom, escape hatch vomit, black smoke. 1 crewman tumbled free, rest joined the pyre. Column exhaled, Leif resumed point, tally ticking. Falaise's ghost lingered larger. August 7th's gap closing had trapped 7th Army ghosts, but leaks wept survivors. Leif's in the mood prowled the moor, infantry in trace. Fleeing Wehrmacht, footsore, vehicle starved, dotted fields. Radio caught Leif's mercy. "Ain't got the heart to kill 'em." Pause, then closes 30 caliber snarled. "Watch the bastards run. Give it to 'em, schoolboy." Tactical math. Let 'em regroup. They kill kin later. Good men bore ugly truths. Leif's voice cracked once, then steel. Pocket sealed 5,000 prisoners, but shadows hid tigers. September 17th toward Aachen spires, first German city in the crosshairs. Villages like Duren's outskirts bristled, 88s in barns, Panthers in hollows. Leif's platoon cleared a farmstead, rhino tusks splintering gates. Close call, Panzerfaust from hayloft scorched the air. Boggs' reload beat the follow-up. Ollie nailed the nest. Barn ablaze, figure crumpling. Tally crested. Leif felt the wheel turn. Home beckoned. Evelyn's letters, 8 little ones unborn. Pup sensed it too. Richard's jokes drier, Ollie's goggles fogging less. But rotation nipped. Groundhog Ollie shipped stateside. Veteran break for trainer's yoke. Replacement, Private First Class Paul Kenneth King, 20 from Tennessee Hills. Steady hand but green to Leif's rhythm. King slotted gunner's nest, eyes keen, but sync lagged a beat, drills patched it barely. September 19th, Mustereibosch, 6 miles from Aachen. Final orders, flank duty, no spearhead. Stay safe, Pool, home tomorrow. Leif nodded, but war's truth burned. Safety, illusion. Dawn broke, assault rolled, infantry hugging walls. In the mood flanked left, King's sight sweeping rubble. Buildings bled defenders, windows spitting tracers, doorways panzerfausts. Leif called fire, high explosive into a steeple, close hosing stragglers, intersection crossroads, fields of fire down lanes, cover from wrecks. Moment's breath, advance held, Krauts cracking, then Hell's whisper, Panther, hull down in alley's throat, 2,000 yards, Queen. Commander picked priority, in the mood's markings, or nearest threat. KWK-42 thundered twice. First turret kiss, 75mm piercing to Bloom. Second, hull gutshot. King died instant, flash furnace claiming him. Leif staggered, right leg shredded by shards, blast stunning. "Bail!" instincts cry. Pups fled. Richards, close hull low, Boggs loader scramble. Leif clawed cupola, leg limp, tank tipped crater ward, pinning him. Crew wheeled back, Richards hauling, Boggs bracing, dragging War Daddy clear as secondaries popped. Medics swarmed. Leif's world narrowed to pain's red roar. 83 days, 258 kills. Third mood's pyre crowned the end. Pups wept. One brother gone, Daddy broken. France's fields drank the last of their fury. Evacuation blurred into a haze of morphine drips and jolting jeeps, the 3rd Armoured's medics racing Leifpool through shell-torn lanes to a field hospital tent, reeking of ether and iodine. Mr. Eibosch's crossroads faded behind, the pyre of his 3rd in the mood a funeral beacon for 83 days of unrelenting storm. Private First Class, Paul Kenneth King lay still in the turret's ruin. The Tennessee gunner's one-mission stand ended in flash and fury. Leif's right leg, mangled by shrapnel's kiss and blast's hammer, throbbed like a live wire. Surgeons labored under lantern glow. Bones shattered beyond mending, arteries clawed open. 8 inches above the knee, they took it. Clean cut to stem the bleed, save the man, if not the warrior. Purple Heart pinned in the haze. Leif gripped Evelyn's phantom letters, whispering to ghosts of pups who dragged him free. The wound's toll tallied deeper than flesh. 258 enemy ghosts. Tanks twisted, half-tracks hollowed, guns silenced, marked the ledger. 12 Panzers felled, 1,000 Wehrmacht souls reaped or rooted, 250 prisoners plucked from ruin. 21 spearhead assaults led, 3 Shermans sacrificed, first to Panzerfaust's whisper in Falaise, second to friendly P-38 rockets over Fromlen, third to Panther's precision in German dirt. Distinguished Service Cross for August's solo rampage, 4 tanks, endless wrecks, clung beside Silver Star gallantry, Legion of Merit for campaign's grind. Belgian Fourragère draped for liberation's push, French Legion of Honor, later for Europe's debt. Medal nominations twice, lost in VE Day's paper deluge, rejected by crew weapon quibble. Brass lauded the legend, but pups mourned the man, War Daddy, legless, war's toll exacted. Recovery clawed slow. Base hospitals in Cherbourg, then England, shuttled Leif across the Channel's chop, prosthetic fittings a cruel echo of tank drills, phantom pains, ghosted marches, infections flared like old flanks. But Texas steel bent not. Evelyn's telegrams anchored, visions of 8 children, 4 boys, 4 girls, spurred steps on pine crutches. By October, stateside bound on hospital ship, Leif stared Atlantic swells, replaying the symphony. Richard's wheel wizardry through village vice, Close's bowgun ballet on creeping shadows, Boggs' loader lightning in reload frenzy, Ollie's sight-stuck zen, spared by rotation's whim, King's brief blaze. Crew's rhythm, 3 seconds spot to shot, outpaced specs. Sherman's flaws, thinner skin, shorter reach, bowed to will. Panther's KWK-42 ruled afar, but Leif's close-quarters gospel, flank, feint, flood, turned tide. Home in 1945, Killeen, Texas, near Fort Hood's armor hum, Leif rebuilt. Farm boys' engineering dreams shelved, Army's call lingered like cordite. Medical discharge tempted, civilian ease, plows peace. but War Daddy chafed at idleness. July 1948. Re-enlistment papers signed, disability no bar. Army bowed to valor, slotting him instructor's chair. Fort Knox's proving grounds became classroom. Leif schooled greenhorns on bocage bites, pursuit perils, crew's sacred sink. Strike first, sons, distance is death, he'd growl, turret sketches on blackboards tracing phantom flanks. Chief Warrant Officer 2 by 1960, retirement synced September 19th, 16 years post-Musterreibosch, fate's wry nod. 19 years total, from wooden mock-ups pre-Pearl to Cold War's nuclear glint. Post-uniform, Leif wove civilian warp. Killeen homestead bloomed with Evelyn's grace, 8 offspring schooled in his ethic, work dawn to dusk, led by doing. Reunions with third armored ghosts swapped yarns over Lone Star longnecks, Falaise's foot chase mercy to machine gun pivot, Colombier's night duel heartbeat. Leif spoke sparse to civilians, war's weight too leaden for lay ears, but soldiers hung on every drawl. His gospel seeped doctrine, aggressive close, crew over chrome. Sherman's Ronson slur faded. Leif's proof, 258 kills on inferior iron, shifted Bibles. Average Yank tank lasted 11 days, his spanned 83 across hulls. Crew's norm, 1 to 3 Rex lifetime. Pups piled 258. Not luck, but grind. Rhino charges negating bocage traps, wet stowage quelling fires, exposed eyes claiming first shot. Tragedy shadowed glory. Son Jerry Lin Poole Sr., captain in Special Forces, chased father's fire to Vietnam's jungles. MacV Sog's ghost teams, deep recon in Laos, Cambodia's thorns, mirrored Leif's solos. March 24th, 1970, RT Pennsylvania's chopper, ferrying Jerry's squad 14 miles into Ratanakiri's green hell, 8 ground fire, rotor snap, fuel bloom, crash inferno. 7 aboard, including 29-year-old Jerry, vapor to MIA shadow, remains hunted decades. Joint digs in Cambodian muck, dental ghosts and DNA whispers. April 12th, 1995, crash site's bones unearthed. June 20th, 2001, 31 years lost, confirmed, Captain Poole homeward. Arlington sod claimed him honors full, 21 gun crack, flag fold for Leif, eyes wet under Stetson. Leif endured, prosthetic stride steady at Central Texas Veterans Cemetery paces. May 30th, 1991, heart gave out in Killeen, age 71. 4 decades plus post-leg, he outlived war's math. Average tanker 6 months. Leif's blaze eternal. Burial rites saluted. Spearhead banners, pups remnants saluting. Legacy armored on, 1993, Fort Knox's driver simulator hall, dubbed SSG Lafayette G pool room. Lieutenant Colonel Olin Brewster, old battalion mate, orated, courage incarnate, tactics torch. Every tanker trainee, treadheads in Abrams cockpits, absorbs War Daddy's lore, farm grit to Fury's forge. 2014's Fury celluloid echoed, Brad Pitt's War Daddy patent to Leif, exposed hatch pup charges, close quarters creed. Hollywood glossed grit, but core rang true. Sherman souls outfoxing Panther panoply. Texas Historical Association nodded. Poole's blueprint. Legacy's vein. Not Kill's cold count, but Creed's warm pulse. American armor's shift. From standoff awe of tigers to brawler's bite. Owed Leif's proof. Industrial flood, 49,000 Shermans to 6,000 Panthers, met his spark. Training trumped tonnage, initiative iced specs. German standoff doctrine, long-range lords, crumbled to Leif's rush, crew's chorus over solo's snarl. Pups scattered but bound. Baby Richards wheeled civvy rigs, close-penned memoirs margins, Boggs loaded Leif's loads, Ollie haunted what-ifs, rotations spare, sparing him King's slot. King's Cross, random reaper, one-day stand in War Daddy's wake. They toasted fallen at reunions in the mood's ghost toasting back. Leif's arc, from Odom dust to Aachen ash, mirrored America's isolation's plow to superpower's plowshare. Farm boy, boxer, engineer, dreamer turned reaper, no ranks crutch, just rod's rod. Strike first, hold hard. 83 days redefined, not end but echo. In Knox halls, Killeen graves, Fury frames, War Daddy rides, eternal spearhead, Pup's proud sire. Leif Pool's war did not end in Musterreibosch smoke. It simmered in hospital wards and training yards, a slow burn etching scars into soul and sinew. Discharged in 1945, he returned to Texas soil, Evelyn's arms a harbor after Channel storms. The prosthetic leg, cold alloy where flesh once strode, became reluctant ally, each step a reminder of the panther's bite. Yet Leif refused pity's gaze. "War took a limb, not the fight," he'd say, voice gravel from cigars and command. 8 children filled the Killeen home, sons chasing dad's grit, daughters his quiet steel, letters from Europe, now bedtime tales of pups and panzers. Family wove the frayed edges, Evelyn's steady hand mending what medics could not. But service's hook sank deep. Civilian suits chafed like ill-fitted track, plows called, but turrets thrummed louder. 1948's summer heat mirrored his resolve. Re-enlistment at Fort Hood, disability waived for valor's weight. Army brass saluted the spearhead sergeant, assigning him armor's classroom. From Camp Roberts's dust to Fort Knox's greensward, Leif molded mudleg recruits into treadmasters. "Terrain's your map, boys. Read it like rain on parched earth," he'd drawl, sketching bocage blinds on chalkboards, recounting Colombiere's midnight tango. Crew drills echoed his pup's precision, 3 heartbeat fire cycles, flank feints turning tigers to tombs. By 1960, Chief Warrant Officer 2 Stripes crowned him. Retirement clocking September 19th, echo of that fatal dawn, 16 years healed but haunted. Uniform shed, Leif lingered in Army's shadow. Fort Hood's rumble neighbor to his ranch, 3rd Armored reunions a yearly rite, old ghosts swapping war yarns over barbecue and beer. Pups reconvened sparse, baby Richards trucking halls with wheelman's wit, schoolboy close farming Oregon acres with gunner's eye, jailbird bogs building lives brick by unyielding brick. Ollie wrestled survivor's shadow, rotation's mercy sparing his perch for King's pyre, emotions tangled as rusted treads. Paul Kenneth King's memory lingered soft, young Tennessean, one charge in War Daddy's wake, random war's quiet toll. They raised glasses to absent brothers. In the mood's melody, humming faint in Miller records, spun slow. Tragedy doubled down, Vietnam's green hell claiming kin. Jerry Lynn Poole Sr., Leif's firstborn firebrand, donned captain's bars in Special Forces. Mac V. Soggs shadows his playground. Recon thorns in Cambodia's coils mirrored Dad's solos, deep probes, silent strikes. March 24, 1970, Ratanakari's skies turned venomous. Chopper laden with RT Pennsylvania's 7 souls, 8 tracer fire, rotors shredding to fireball plunge. Jerry, 29, vanished in the bloom, MIA echo across decades. Leif paced Killeen nights, prosthetic clicking like Morse regret. Joint hunts clawed Cambodian clay. 1995 unearthed bones, 2001's forensics sealed it. Dental ghosts, DNA threads. Arlington claimed him June 20th, honors crisp. Volleys cracking, caisson creak. Flag trifold for a father's bowed head. War's chain, Odom farm to Odom's echo, generations ground in the same mill. Leif's light dimmed May 30th, 1991. Heart falter at 71, Killeen claiming its son. Central Texas Veterans Cemetery draped him in spearhead colors, Pups's salute's final fire command. Ribbons arrayed, Distinguished Service Cross for August's blaze, Silver Star for bocage bites, Legion of Merit for spearhead spear, Purple Heart thrice pierced, Belgian Fourragère woven for Ardennes gift, French Chevalier Legion of Honor for liberty's debt. Medals gleamed, but legacy armored deeper. 1993 etched permanence, Fort Knox's driver simulator hall reborn, SSG Lafayette G pool room. Olin Brewster, Battalion Echo, voiced the right. From Texas dirt to Hitler's door, Courage's cartographer. Trainees, Abrams bound, absorb the scroll. 83 days alchemy, 258 hulks from inferior steel. Average Sherman 11 days to scrap, Leif's spanned the span. Crew Norm 3 kills lifetime. Pups piled peaks. Secret? Creed's core close the kill. Crew's chorus over Chrome's chant. German long-range lords, Panthers reach, Tigers roar, crumbled to Rush's reply. America's edge, 49,000 Shermans flooding 6,000 foes, but Leif's spark lit the fuse. Training's forged trumping tonnages tide. 2014's Fury celluloid crowned the tale. Brad Pitt's War Daddy, hatch-high pup fierce, close-quarters zeal, mirrored Leif's mold. Texas historians affirmed, Pool's patent, bokage to bulge, scripted true. Hollywood honed the grit. Sherman's slats versus sloped doom, won by Will's weld. Not flawless, dramatic dash over drill's drudge, but millions glimpsed War Daddy's world, pups packed in pyre's glow. Leif's vein pulses doctrine's heart. Armor's Bible shifted. Standoff oar to brawler's bite, crew sink over solo snarl. Cold War treads to desert storms, his gospel guides, strike first, hold herd. Human ledger balances brutal, 1,000 krauts claimed, but King's youth, Jerry's jungle, Leif's limb, war's whimsy, safety's sly jest. From Odem's dust to Knox's code, farm plough to fire's ploughshare, Leif proved the creed, ordinary ore, forged extraordinary. No crowns for farm boys, but echoes eternal. In Colleen whispers, pup toasts, trainee turrets, War Daddy endures, spearhead's soul, Texas thunder unbound. 83 days birthed legend, not kills count, but courage's carve. Crew's trust, tactics twist, leadership's light. America's arc, from isolation's yoke to global guard. Leif Pool, reaper from roots, rests but rides. In every tread's turn, every shot's snap, the eternal charge.